Hey guys, I'm gonna make a Soraka Mid guide. Just for a little bit of context, I'm a Soraka one trick. I play her for 5 years now. I mainly play her mid lane. I reached Grandmasters in my region. About 850 LP was my peak, but I lost a couple games, so I'm around 700 now. I have around 700k mastery points on her, on my all of my accounts. And I play her mostly mid lane, but I play her top ADC and support as well. So I'm here today to teach you guys how I play Soraka Mid. So let's start off with the runes, shall we? So first off, I mainly only run Airy as a primary, and we always take Revitalize for Soraka no matter what. So I basically use only one rune page for every single lane. You can swap it for like maybe phase rush on a couple of matches, but I don't like it. If you want, you can use it on like Tryndamere, for example. But I always use Airy for every single matchup. So basically, it's Airy, mana flow ban because you have mana issues because you have to spam your Q out of cooldown because you need wave clear so you don't get pushed, and it's really hard to farm with her auto attack. So you're mainly using Q all the time to farm. Plus a couple of matches you will need to only farm with Q because you won't be able to step up to auto attack for farming because you just, like, for example, LeBlanc, you can't contest wave against LeBlanc. She just one shots you if you do. So yeah, so Mana Flow Band is the best one here. Transcendence is the best because Celerity is just an awful rune on her. Absolute Focus, you usually are like half HP, so you won't be proccing Absolute Focus much. And Transcendence is a good rune because she loves CDR. So Transcendence is a really, really nice pick. Scorch and Water Walking, it's bad. It's not good. She's not made to stomp lane for Scorch. And you can have an argument for Water Walking so you can roam more. But most matchups you can't even roam. And Gathering Storm just helps your mid to late game because that's where you're gonna shine, right? So on 20 minutes, you're gonna be even stronger. So I prefer Gathering Storm for her mid to late game being extra stronger, right? On your secondary runes, you're gonna take Conditioning like almost every single game because Bone Plating is be bad. Same thing as Scorch. Bone Plating is a lane phase rune. It doesn't help you much outside of like level 6, 7, because you're not gonna die anyways, right? So all you have to do is just on hard matchups is usually on lane phase hard matchups. You have to just survive until level 6 or 7 or something like that, right? So that's where it's gonna help, but you don't even need it most of the times, and it's not gonna help much. So you're better off with Second Wind on poke matchups like Lux, Zeref, or Vel'Koz. And Conditioning is a really good overall rune because you're not gonna need Second Wind on most matchups, right? So if you're confident enough that you don't need Second Wind, just run Conditioning every single game. You're always gonna get Revitalized no matter what. Just such good synergy, right? So attack speed, always. You can't farm without it. It's just too hard. She needs attack speed and AD to farm smoothly. Also for trading on lane phase, most matchups you no, I mean most of the easy matchups you can poke them out of lane or just punish them or zone them. This is gonna make your trades even better, right? And on hard matchups, you can maybe abuse the fact that they don't play against you much, like Soraka Mid, so you can catch them off guard and have a nice trade, and you get a better lane phase. So this is just like standard. You just can't get out of it, right? The most you can do is run like armor or MR on this part, because say your mid lane is like an auction, which is a really bad matchup for her. We're gonna get some matchups soon. Uh, you can run double armor if the jungler is also a ED champion, right? Like Graves, because this is gonna make you even safer on lane phase, because Soraka, she's really hard to gank, but on a losing matchup, if you die like once or twice, you can just get steamrolled. So maybe the extra protection is gonna actually save you. So I advise you taking like double resistances against like AD mid, AD jungle, AP mid, AP jungle, right? But mostly you're gonna go with AD. You're gonna just get like, AD mid, go armor, AP mid, go MR. Never, ever, ever run HP on her because of how resistance works on her, on flat healing and whatnot. Not gonna get into that, but always go resistances, right? So this is her page. Let's go to items now. So for her items, you're always gonna start on Doran's Ring and 2 potions, because it's just the best early game item you can get because of her mana issues. Also, it just helps you with your wave clear. You can go extra greedy with Dark Seal, but I don't recommend it. It's just like, it feels lackluster, the mana issue, right? So you're gonna run out of mana if you go with it. Since you just spam Q out of cooldown. So what I advise you to do is just go Doran's Ring, double potions. First back, you're gonna get your Dark Seal, boots, and refillable potion, or Dark Seal refillable. After you buy all those 3 items, you're gonna go with the Amp Tome, then the Kindle Gem. Since you need Doran's Ring, Dark Seal, and an Amp Tome with a level 3 Q to 2-shot the back wave, if you don't have enough AP, you're not going to 2-shot the back wave, which is really, really, really important, right? Because wave clearing is really important on mid lane because of mid lane pressure. So you go Amp Tome. You're not gonna go Mirror, because it's just better off just going Kindle Gem, right? After Kindle Gem, just finish your Moonstone, right? Just finish Moonstone. You can, if you need, buy a nullifying mantle or a Negatron cloak or anything resistance related if you need it. If you're going against mid lane AD mid, AD jungle, and Zhonya's is your first or second buy, you can go Seeker's Arm Guard, but I usually don't. I usually just do it if it's a really, really hard matchup that I need armor. For example, Yasuo, Irelia, Auction. For your first items, we have Moonstone Renewer, Staff of Flowing Water, and Zhonya's. You're always gonna go Moonstone Renewer. It's really, really situational, the other two. You can go Staff of Flowing Water if your jungler is an AD. You can go Staff of Flowing Water if the jungler is a AP assassin like Diana or Gwen. Gwen is not an assassin, but she benefits a lot from the CDR and AP. So usually you're just gonna go if it's a Gwen or Diana jungle, and you have another carry on your team that benefits from either AP or CDR, right? Like for example, in Ezreal, he benefits a lot with CDR and AP as well. So usually you're just gonna go that. It's really, really, really hard for you to have a good Staff of Flowing Water first item game. Zhonya's is a really good option if they have a lot of dive and you're not ahead. If you are ahead, even if they had a lot of dive, you just go Moonstone because you're just gonna be way, way stronger on team fighting. But Zhonya's is a safety option against Zed, Diana, Malphite, and whatnot. For your boots, you're usually gonna go CDR boots. You don't ever buy the other ones. You're just gonna go tabbies when they're like full AD. Merc, with they have a lot of CC. It's really really hard for you to actually get this. You can go Swifties, but I don't recommend it. You just go CDR. CDR is really really good. For your second item, you have a Relic Shield, which you can buy on mid game or late game. If you have like an open inhibitor, you can just keep killing the super minions. You can execute them for an easier push. Also, 90 gold is really 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 good. So Relic Shield you can go on second, third item if inhibitor is open, right? Um, you can go Redemption, which is the best choice here. It's really, really solid. It helps you out with your sustain, helps you out with engaging, helps you out a lot. Everything just synergizes really, really well, right? Zonias is a really, really good second option. It's even better than first because Moonstone into Zonias is a much, much healthier build than going Zonias than Moonstone. But it's the same thing. If they have a lot of dive, if you need the armor, don't buy this for the armor. Buy it for the active, okay? So only if they have diving champions and the Zonias, the stasis, is gonna do something for you. Don't buy it for the armor. Moonstone Renewer, if you bought any of those two, is like mandatory. Mikael's is such a good item. I love this item. It's just too good on Soraka. It's not better than Redemption in most cases, but a lot of games is gonna be a really solid choice because of MR, which helps you surviving, because of the active, which is super strong if you know how to use it, and just because it's just so good having MR in the beginning of the game. It's just so good having MR in the beginning of the game. For example, if you're going against a Xerath or a Vel'Koz, which is really, really hard matchup, you can just run Negatron Cloak and then you can just go Mikael's, right? It's just so good. Frozen Heart is a really good choice, but I never ever buy it. You can, but I don't like it. It's just good against like really tech things like Tryndamere or Yasuo because they are diving champions which require attack speed and deal purely physical damage, right? It's not that good. It's not that good. It's not many champions are gonna reach your Frozen Heart range that actually need attack speed. It's good armor, but if you need armor, you can just run Tabi or you can just buy like pure armor. You don't need to finish an armor item. Like you can just go a chain vest and that's it, right? If they have a lot of physical damage, you just go Tabi. If they don't and you need a little bit of armor, just buy a chain vest. You don't need to finish an item, right? If you just get the resistance. Don't worry about the rest. Usually you just go cloth armor or something, but you can go chain vest if you need. For your third item, you can finish your support item if you have the relic shield early and you just stack it really fast. When you hit level, if you like level 13, 14, and it just buy it. It's a really good item, right? It's too cheap, a lot of stats. It's just really good item if you have your support item finished. If you don't ever buy it. Just buy it if it upgrades. Force of Nature is the best choice for magic resistance. It's just too good. Like it tanks so much. Spirit's Visage is a really good item if you have another peeling champion. For example, Sona. Sona is just really good with Spirit's Visage. And the rest is the same thing as the second item, but if you need something else, like if you go Redemption, you can go Crucible after. It just same deal. So this is her build. Let's go to her matchups now. For her matchups, I made this tier list. If you want to look at every single tier list, top, mid, ADC, and support matchups, her synergies, her build, and her runes. Everything's gonna be down below in the description. Let's start off with her worst matchups, Irelia and Kassadin. Kassadin is just a really hard scaling champion. You're basically a free lane for him. Irelia is just a lane bully that just kills you even if she's like 0-10. She's gonna kill you. She's gonna split push. You're not gonna be able to step your feet on side lanes if she's there. So it's a really, really, really countered matchup. You're not gonna do anything if you play against them. Kassadin is an impossible matchup. You're only gonna win if your team is really good and Kassadin is really bad. Irelia, you can still play against her, but it's gonna be a nightmare. You have to survive laning phase, and even if you do, she's gonna be an oppressive side laner, and you're not gonna be able to deal with that. For the really hard matchups, we have Anivia, which is a really, really good control mage, and Soraka doesn't go too well against them. As you can see, most control mages are really high up in their list because they have a lot of CC, they just can lock you down, they can burst you, they have the same range or even higher range. So she has a really hard time playing against Anivia on mid lane. The wall just breaks your ankles. She has a lot of slow, a lot of stun, really high damage. Your silence is only good to stop her using ult, which is not that big of a deal anyways. She just have like a perma push on you, a lot of pressure, not really easy to play against. Syndra's the same deal as Anivia, but she doesn't control zones. She just basically one-shots you and doesn't let you farm and zones you of EXP, right? She's just a really oppressive mid laner. You can't deal with her. She has a higher range. She has a lot of damage. Her stun is BS. So just don't pick her against Syndra. And if you're playing against Soraka Mid, you can go Syndra. It's a really, really easy match. You don't even have to be that good on Syndra anyways. Ziggs is the same thing as Vel'Koz. It's just outrange, right? Anything that outranges Soraka and can poke her down and can zone her is gonna be a really bad time for her. Corki is the same deal, but the thing about Corki is that he's really safe. He's not gonna kill you on mid if you let him, but he's gonna outscale you when he reaches full Muramana and first item, that be like Ludens or anything. He's just gonna like do half your HP really far away. You can't deal with that. It's too much for you to do. So he basically outscales you. He's one of the few mid laners that can actually outscale you, right? Katarina is a really, really annoying match. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's just so annoying to play against a lot of mobility. It's just so hard. She has Grievous Wound on her ultimate. It's basically undodgeable and it's area of effect. Solo kill wise, she resets, you're dead. She doesn't reset, you're probably dead as well. She has perma push on mid lane. She has really low cooldowns, a lot of mobility. She just can perma roam if you don't let her kill you. She's gonna kill your side lanes and she's gonna snowball out of nowhere. Pentakill and she's carrying the game and you can't do much about it. You're only gonna be like okay against Katarina if she's bad. If she's bad at Katarina and you like she doesn't respect your silence, she jumps in, you silence her, yeah, you actually like stomp her on this. Like in this angle of you silencing her on team fights is actually good for you, but it's really hard for her to not remember that you have silence, right? She's just gonna wait for it or an opportunity for a reset. If she resets, even if you silence her, you're gonna die, right? You're gonna die. It's really hard to survive her. She's too much mobility. Going down the tier list, we have like the matchups that you don't want to play against, but you can play against. It's hard, but not that hard. Basically skill matchup. whether it be a good early game that you have to just let them push the wave, or let them just free farm, or have perma push, but you still outscale them, or they have like good scaling and you just have to push them the wave. It's like really hard, right? So Action is a really bad matchup because his early game is super strong. You can die like 1,000 times to even if he's like 0-3, he's gonna kill you. Really, really annoying. You have to rush Tabis to survive his lane. Just super annoying. You can't run D shield because she needs the AP to clear waves. So it's really, really hard. Run second wind, just farm as much as you can from max range on your Q. Don't let him kill you. Ping the roams and try to outscale him with your healing on team fights. Every single other one here, except for Kiana, I'd say Kiana is it's just way up than she should be. She probably should be around like Rise level. She's not that hard. She's just an annoying champion to deal, but she's not that bad, right? So she should be with Rise, okay? Every single other matchup in this tier, it's basically just give your farm, let them push, get as much farm as you can without letting them kill you, outscale them, and GG, right? Or it's Veigar and you just run cleans, you farm as much as you can, and you try to participate in every single skirmish that you can, dive, side lanes, do whatever you can to accelerate the game so Veigar doesn't get absurdly strong. So try your best to make the game go faster, right? Veigar is the only one that actually needs this. On the tier below, we have the matchups that you can play against. It's like okay. It's like skill matchup but favored for your side. You can play them. Like if you play them well, it's a really easy matchup. Yasuo is one of them. Yasuo is like really hard if you don't know how to play against him, but if you learn how to play against him, he's easy, right? Yasuo is will always stomp you on lane. Like he will shit on you until you reach level 7. Whenever you hit level 7, you have your Tabi, you're really good to go. Like he will never kill you if you let him, right? So if Yasuo ults someone, you have your E on his, you just E him, and he's not gonna be able to dash away. He's just gonna get rooted, and he's probably going to die. He's a really annoying side laner. That's a problem, but you don't have to deal with it. You can just force 5v5 and just win off of that, right? Yasuo likes to teamfight, and he's gonna try to teamfight. You're just gonna silence him, and he cannot E, he cannot Q. He's just gonna be standing there, and he's really squishy. He's probably going to die. So Yasuo is a really easy matchup. You just need to learn how to play against it and really get how the feeling of playing early game against him. Because if you die, you're gonna have a bad time. If he kills you, he's just gonna steamroll you and gonna kill you over and over and over again, and you can't do anything about it. But if you survive laning phase, you get Moonstone, level 11, you're good to go. You're probably going to be really annoying on team fights, and he's not gonna be able to do anything. Everything else is just outscale them. Don't let them kill you, survive laning phase, and you're good to go. Below them, we have the Rise tier, let's say. Rise is actually a really bad matchup for Soraka if you're playing on high elo like Grandmaster's Challenger, because he's just so hard to gank. You can't, he's basically immune to ganking. You don't have reliable CC, your silence sucks against him. Depending which jungler you have on your team, he's never gonna get ganked. Your silence most of the times won't do anything because he runs phase rush, so he's just gonna walk away. But he's a really easy matchup on the early game. You have like perma farm, you have push on him on the early game. You can just roam. You're gonna do way more than him until like 30, 40 minutes, like 35 minutes, 30 minutes. So just win the game before 30 minutes. Everything else is just you shit on them early game. If you know how to play against it, you're probably gonna shit on them, or you just outscale them so hard you don't even have to do anything, right? You just have to survive. Most matchups here, you just go second wind and GG, right? You don't ever die. You outscale them, get Moonstone, and you win every single team fight because they're not gonna do anything. On her easiest matchups, which is where Soraka counters them, we have Karma, which is just a worse version of Soraka. We have Lissandra, gets cooked by Silence, awful champion. Kaisa Mid, she got nerfed, but even before she got nerfed, it was already really, really bad. Terrible early game, never gonna kill you. You're gonna do way more than her on team fights. If she pokes, you just heal. Set is just awful mid laner, don't pick Set mid. Vlad it's a scaling champion, but you shit on him so hard early game. You can basically bully him out of lane. You can dive him. Your silence breaks his ankles. If you know how to play against Vladimir, he's such an easy... Vladimir is just a walk in the park if you know how to play against him, right? Twisted Fate is an easy matchup because he's not gonna kill you ever, ever, ever. You have to run cleans, but he's not ever killing you. You're not gonna get ganked. He's gonna try to ult on the side lanes. Your ult is gonna just help you a lot. You're probably gonna do more than actually TF is doing. You have push on him sometimes, depending on the lane state. You can actually like wave management him so hard that you can just make him not be able to leave mid lane. And even if he does, he's gonna lose farm anyways, because you can just shove the wave and you're never ever getting ganked. Talon is an easy matchup because he's awful mid to late game. He's just really good early game and you're never gonna die to him. Just respect his level 1, level 2, and level 3 and you're good to go. By Zhonya's, he's never killing you. He's never gonna do anything. His primary goal on team fights will be to assassinate. His primary goal on teamfights is going to be assassinating you or your carry. If you silence him, he's not gonna do much. You basically out heal his damage. He's not killing anyone, and if he jumps on you, you have Zhonya's. He's basically a sitting duck on teamfights. He's not gonna do anything. Just don't go side lane. Don't get picked off, and you're good to go. It's basically that. Playing against Talon is, if he jumps on you, you put your E on your feet. He's gonna get rooted. He's not gonna be able to ult or do his black flips, and you're probably not gonna die. You have Zhonya's, you have armor, you have healing, you have ult, you have barrier, you have everything at your disposal. So those are her matchups. Remember, every single matchup here and this image as a whole is going to be on the description. We have the runes, the items, the skill order, her matchups, and her synergies here. Last but not least, let's talk about her summoner spells. For summoner spells, we actually have a lot of options. We have heal, ghost, barrier, exhaust, teleport, flash, and cleanse. You're basically going to run flash barrier every single game. It's a really reliable combo. She just benefits a lot from barrier because of how tanky she gets. Exhaust is really good against bursty champions like Diana, but I never run it. Barrier is just too good. Cleanse is really good against Twisted Fate or Veigar or anything that you have to cleanse to actually not die. Teleport, I hate it. I think it's an awful summoner spell, especially on Soraka. Ghost is really good against anything that chases you. It's actually viable, like an Olaf, for example. And heal is really good when you know you're up against someone who's not gonna take ignite. If they don't take ignite, you can run heal for better 2v2 skirmishes. That's it. If you like the video, leave a comment down below. I really appreciate all the feedback. I never tried to do an English video before. I never got like any requests, but my last video, which was the same video as this one in Portuguese, I got a couple of English comments, so I'm going to do this version. And if it gets like traction, if it actually gets people to watch and people want more, I'm down for more scripted videos in English. This was basically an experiment to see if I could reach the English community with my videos. So if you liked it, leave a like. If you want more videos, please tell me in the comments. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.